When hinges creak in doorless chambers, and strange and frightening sounds echo through the halls, whenever candlelights flicker, where the air is deathly still, that is the time when ghosts are present, practicing their terror with ghoulish delight.
Hey there, all you foolish mortals, and welcome back to The Haunted Man. I'm your host, your ghost host. Thanks, guys.
I'm your co-ghost host.
Okay. Yeah, so that was actually pretty good.
Yay, thank you.
That was nice.
This is my favorite ride. Not my favorite movie.
Well, we'll get to the movie part in a second, but
yeah.
But real quick, welcome everybody back to Triple J Studios podcast. But it's that time of year again.
It's the
Cold,
most wonderful time.
Not yet, but we are no longer Triple J Studios for this month. We are Triple Scream Studio.
Woohoo! There's only 2 screams though.
Yeah.
Oh.
But yeah, as before, like in La La Land, and you were Ferris Bueller, joined again by the wonderful Emmy.
Hello. Wow. Your co-ghost host.
Co-ghost host. I was gonna get my other co-ghost host, but he's doing other ghost host stuff. So he's in the other spirit realm. You know how it is.
Oh, you know how it be.
That's how it be. So if you guys couldn't tell from the opening of how Emmy delivered her lines, we will be talking about the 2003 smash crash Haunted Mansion. So previously, I already know the answer, but previously, have you seen this film, Emmy?
Yes, and I actually watched it recently, just for, for fun, because spooky season was upon us. So, and yeah, that was before you even asked me about this. So it's fresh in my brain.
Yeah, so I've seen this film a couple times. I like watching it just because it's Halloween. It's like, this is how you open Halloween. Yeah, but this came shortly after the first attempt. Yeah, this would be no, according to this, it was the 5th. I can't remember the other ones. But the Tower of Terror, the television film that was made in 1997, that's claimed as like the big one that was like pushing forward more of the types of films.
I have never heard of the Tower of Terror movie or Mission to Mars. I have never heard of either of them.
You're not missing much.
See, that's what I'm kind of thinking.
Like, I'm trying to think of like a bad Disney Channel original, because it's like you got your High School Musical.
But like a bad one? Oh,
but a bad
like
one?
16 Wishes with Debbie Ryan.
Sure.
Loved it at the time, but it's bad.
Never seen it, but the Tower of Terror, maybe that'll be one we cover. It's not scary, it's not interesting, it's not worth your time, and it's not on Disney Plus. So bother with it.
Mission to Mars, I don't even want to know.
Do you know about the ride?
Yeah, even the ride's not that fantastic. Like, it's like, okay, yeah, fun,
cool. Space, whatever, we've seen it.
Yeah. And the Country Bears. I loved that movie when I was younger. I tried to watch it. I got 2 minutes in and had to stop. It's so scary. This is scarier than the Haunted Mansion movie.
Isn't that the one with Christopher Walken in it?
Yes. It's so weird.
Well, we're not talking about the Country Bears.
No, maybe that'll be next, because that's a nightmare.
It's a horror film in itself. But what would you say is your relation with the Haunted Mansion? Because I know, like, for me, when I was younger, the ride terrified me.
No, let me think. I've been going to Disney for many, many years, since I was born, and I did not like this ride. I don't think I really enjoyed this ride until about, I don't know, 5th grade, maybe. I, to this day, am scared of most things, but especially things that were meant to be scary, I was deathly afraid. So the first time I went on this ride, I closed my eyes the whole time, but now it's one of my favorite rides ever. If it is my favorite ride at Disney. It is. But yeah, I was definitely very, very scared of it when I was little, but now I love it. So I don't know how that changed so drastically, but I still don't like scary things, but it's not scary for adults, but
Yeah, when I was
rambling.
younger, I had this is my experience. We went to one of the cast members went, "Hey, is there a way that we can skip the opening?" Because I remember the opening terrifying me
Oh
because of
my
like
gosh.
because in my mind I'm like, "Oh, when you look up, there's a dead body." That's
Yeah,
not.
that's a little frightening.
Yeah, so we asked if we could go around, and they went, "Oh yeah, of course, like that's fine."
Oh.
And I still wanted to go onto the ride, but not just
Just
straight through.
not the stretching room.
Right. They took us all the way through to the like end of the ride. It was like,
Oh,
no, we meant like just that one little bit. And they went, oh yeah,
oh.
okay. So apparently you can skip that opening bit.
You can't.
You can.
Oh, you can. Okay.
Yeah, I
Okay.
was able to just like go like
Oh, well,
this.
yeah. That makes sense. Like,
Yeah.
especially for people who are like claustrophobic, because, pre COVID, there'd be a ton of people in that room, and that room is not very big.
Mm-mm. But
So,
and it's
yeah.
kind of hard to move into the dead center. Reference.
Yeah.
Anyway, so let's get back. It's directed by Rob Minkoff, who I've never heard of before. Oh wait, known for co-directing Disney animated Lion King, Stuart Little 2, The Forbidden Kingdom, and Mr. Peabody and Sherman. He
I
kind
have
of
no
went
idea what the
downhill
Forbidden
after
Kingdom is.
he
Yeah.
went downhill after Lion
Hey,
King.
but I like Mr. Peabody and Sherman.
But Stuart
Anyways.
Little
I
2. So
can't.
yeah, it was directed by him. Uh, in case anyone was wondering, it was based off of the Haunted Mansion. It stars Eddie Murphy,
Wait,
Terrence
really?
Sean. Yeah, no. The music
News
was
to me.
Mark Manica, and it was released on November 26, 2003, which was almost Christmas time. It had a budget of $90 million. It made a box office of $182.3 million, so it essentially doubled its money, but at what cost? What cost?
What
Um,
cost?
yeah, so let's all, how many, I'm honestly just trying to see how many references I can make. So
Yeah.
So let's all look alive and go right into the Haunted Mansion movie.
All right.
All right. So,
So here she is.
here, what?
Oh, I don't know.
Okay. So,
Here's the movie.
yep. So about 100 years ago, we got our wealthy landowner Edward Gracie, played by Nathaniel Parker, and he falls in love with Elizabeth Henshaw, a multiracial servant in his grand manner. And then they're having this big old get together, and they're like, "Whoa, we're having a party!" And then she dies, and then he dies, and then everyone's sad, but the party's still going. Let's talk about the
Party
opening.
still. Let's.
I don't like it.
No, I think I actually skipped the opening the
It's
last time I watched it.
it wasn't even that long. It was just it looks really cartoony. Like
Yeah.
there was a no one else is gonna understand what I'm saying, but in the you will because you've seen it. The musical, the second one, when the one with Anthony was in it, and it was based off of. Oh, I'm trying to remember. Was that one Macbeth?
uh, the second
I
project
think
that
it
we made.
was.
Yeah,
Yeah,
our
yeah,
second one was
that one was
Macbeth.
Macbeth because that was the yeah.
Yeah.
There's this scene where like the chandelier is going and it looks like all all over the place. That's the same effect that's used here with the ghost. Is they just kind of layered everything, so it's the same shot. It's just like flipped and mirrored and all this other stuff. So it looked kind
Ooh.
of empty.
Yeah. Yikes.
I don't know. I didn't
Yeah.
like the opening.
No, I skipped it. It's
So
not it's
cool.
not great. If you have to skip it, it's not wonderful.
No, it's bad. So we fast forward and we now see Jim, Eddie Murphy, and Sarah Marcia Thompson, Jim and Sarah Evers, who are in charge of Evers and Evers, where they want to see you happy forever and Evers. Haha.
Evers and Evers. I love Eddie Murphy though. I I hate to hate on this movie, and I won't. Okay, I don't hate this movie at all. It's just,
Ladies and gentlemen, here comes the butt.
but
Yeah. So no, what I don't get is that at the beginning with like the kid on the bike, like I'm just delivering newspapers for everybody. They decide to just throw a ghost at him as like a cheap jump scare. It's never done again. There's like no other scare other than that little thing. And even then it's like, okay, cool.
yeah.
But either way, but the Evers family, they're kind of doing okay. They have 2 children, Megan and Michael. Megan is annoying, and we're gonna go in depth with her in a good minute. And then Michael
Great.
Michael. I didn't have a problem with.
He's cool. He doesn't like spiders.
Yeah, I thought that was a bad character trait, but he was still just like.
Yeah, his only character trait is not liking spiders.
Yeah, it's
that's cool. And then
after
the
a while,
daughters.
you kind of forget these people's names. You're like, it started with an M. Kid that doesn't like spiders.
Yeah, and then like her only personality trait is just being an annoying 13-year-old.
Oh my gosh, she's so. By the way, if anyone can hear that, that's a lawnmower. It's a ghost lawnmower. Ooh.
Woo.
No, I just don't like Megan at all. She's like trying too much to be the cliche teenager, but she's 11. So
she's 11?
Isn't she in the film 11?
I really don't know anyone's age in this movie.
How do you not know these people's names? She's not.
I don't pay that close attention. Oh.
She's 29 now.
Wow.
Hey, Ariel Davis.
Hey, Ariel.
Hey. So you fast forward a little bit, and Jim is seen as a workaholic, and he misses a lot of family events, such as like a grill out and their anniversary, all because he wants to get these houses all done, which
wants to just make people happy forever and ever, but he can't make his family. Whoa. Okay, let's keep it going.
I don't get this character trait. I get that he's a workaholic, but okay. In previous script writes, because I did some research on this, he was supposed to be like wanting to work ahead. So like he wants to go up in the business. But in this, he's just kind of working, like the sense of like working to live and not, or sorry, living to work and not working to live kind of mindset.
I see.
But that doesn't make me it doesn't make me dislike or like the character. It just makes me go, okay.
Could be better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Jim misses his anniversary, and they go like, that's it, we're going to the lake. No like discussion or anything, just we're going to the lake.
That's it. Family vacation right now.
We're going.
That was so funny. Because he was so busy before, he's like, you know what, we're just gonna take an entire weekend off and go on vacation. I was like, that's pretty extreme.
I guess you can do that when you're an adult. Just go
I guess you can.
So they go to the lake, and Sarah gets a little call from Gracie Mana in the Louisiana Bayou. That at least makes sense.
Yes.
By the end of the film, they're taking the Florida Bridge to the Keys.
Oh. What? well, maybe they flew, and that's their rental car. I don't know. It
doesn't. Location is weird, but either way, the Haunted Mansion is in Louisiana. That's been established.
That does make sense because, and correct me if I'm wrong, I have never been to Disneyland, but in Disneyland, the Haunted Mansion ride is in the New Orleans area.
New Orleans Square, yeah.
Okay.
No, yeah, it's like it's all themed like that, so it would make sense that it's in Louisiana. Here, it's just kind of like, okay, it's like in Disney World, for people who haven't been there, it's in between Fantasyland and not Frontierland.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No,
Frontierland.
it's in
Hasn't
Liberty
been in so
Square.
long.
It's
But
in
yeah,
Liberty Square.
it's kind of like the old house on a hill because it doesn't fit. I always thought that was a weird place for
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
But they go, and Jim's like, okay, we'll make a deal with this person, go to the mansion, see how it is. 20 minutes tops. And they meet the
Now,
butler. Hmm?
remember the person, the Master Gracie or Ramsley or whoever, they called Sarah the wife, and they assumed that it was just her going. But the whole family went because they were gonna go to the lake afterwards, and the plot thickens.
They're like, it's going to be a fun time. We're going to have fun. And then,
Gonna be great.
yeah, and then the butler comes, Ramsley, played by Terrence Swamp, or Stamp. I tried looking at other films he did. Superman 2, he was General Zod. He was in
Who
Star
now?
Wars: The Phantom Menace.
Oh,
He's been in 2 Tim Burton films, Big Eyes and Miss Peregrine's Home for the
Peregrine's
Cure.
Home for. Oh, we should do a podcast on that one because
I've never seen it. He's 82.
I read the books a while back.
Pretty good.
The books were lovely. The movie was not. Anyways.
So they go there. I didn't. This is. I gotta say something good about this film because the next thing.
Okay.
Ramsley was fine. I thought he had one good line in the film because the rest of the time he sounded like he was going to pass out. So it was like he kept I thought he was going to just die. And then
I liked Ramsley. I thought he was fun. Well,
yeah, that guy
not really,
screams
but
fun.
yeah.
Yeah, but we meet the other 2 servants. We meet Emma, played by Dina Spivey, and Football Erza, played by the principal in a Goofy movie, Wallace Shawn.
Hold on. Wait.
Yeah, did you? That's how I know him. He's the principal in.
That's how you know him?
Yeah, and then I learned about the Princess Bride.
Okay.
Look, when I was younger, cartoons were all the rage. Now that I'm almost an adult, cartoons are all the rage.
Cartoons, still the rage.
Yeah, they're still relevant.
Yeah.
And then they're like, "Oh, cool! You got a graveyard in your backyard? That's normal." Which,
yeah.
What can I say that's good about the film? The design and the effort that was put into the film is clearly seen.
Yes,
I can see
like
that,
the house
the
is
set designs
stunning.
Beautiful.
But the outside of the house is definitely CGI'd or
it
something.
looks like concept art.
It's not real. Yeah, it's not real. But the inside is immaculate.
Top notch. It's fine,
and
but
I have to mention, because at one point I think you see a long corridor, and you can see one of those candelabras that's just floating through, when you see it in the ride. There's really nice little subtle mentions to the ride, which I appreciate.
Let me ask you this. So
yes,
picture this. You go to Philip, I don't know, fake name. Philip, and he's like, "Oh, I've never been to Disney World or Disneyland or been on any of the rides." Do you think that they would still enjoy the film? Or understand, because I'm trying to think of with Madame Leota, who we'll get to in a second.
Yeah.
She's just kind of there, and Jim goes, "Oh, I heard your voice." Well, you didn't in the film. It's just suddenly she's there.
Yeah. I think that people who don't know anything about the ride would still enjoy it if they think that it's a good movie, if you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I think so, because I don't know, they set up the plot pretty nicely and explain everything, and the plot of the movie doesn't exactly correlate with some of the plot points in the ride. Some things are still related, but I think they set up everything nicely that I think it's still enjoyable for everyone.
Okay, so they still
That's
explain
my
it enough
take.
that it's like you would still understand what's happening.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, I think
that
so.
that makes sense.
Do you agree with
Um,
that? Or
hmm?
do you agree with that or do you have a different take?
I feel like people would get a different story from it because it's
Yeah.
in the sense of if. So how do I word it? In the Pirates of the Caribbean, it was like good film, critically acclaimed, made tons of sequels. That's fine, but it got so good that the rides changed as well. So like now you were
That's
going in
true.
with Jack Sparrow. So I feel like if people were like, "Oh, that's a really good film," and then they went to Disney World or Disneyland or anywhere, they would go on expecting something similar,
Mhm.
but probably find something better. So
Okay. Yes.
I don't know. That's my opinion. Tell
Yes.
us what you guys think, I guess,
Yes.
because there's a lot of this film that's kind of left out, like
Yeah.
the bride with the axe.
Yeah, like that's not the same person as Elizabeth.
No,
I'm
I'd
it's a
rather her be in the film, or like the Hatbox Ghost, or
yes, me too. Like Constance, that's her name. The bride with the axe. Her name
right.
is Constance. I wish that we got a story about her
Let's
because she
at the very
seems
end of
so cool.
after we talk about the film, I want to talk about what we would do to improve upon it, like
And
what we
what we
would put
hope to
in.
see in the new movie.
Yeah, which we'll get to in a second, but
We'll get there later.
we'll get there. Later on, though, there's a rainstorm, and Gracie goes,
Of
"Well,
course.
looks like you're trapped, buds." And he brings them up to
That's
their own
actually
room.
an exact quote from the movie. That's what he says.
Yeah, but it's more deep and like he's cold. So Ramsey takes Jim to the library, and he's like, "Listen," and I'm quoting here again. You
Mhm.
gotta, we gotta talk about this. You stay here, and I'll be right back. And he goes, "Okay." And then Jim finds a secret passage, like the Batman.
Yes.
Um, Gracie gives Sarah a tour instead, going like, "Hey, the master, his grandfather died because his mother Elizabeth died, so they're both dead." And she goes, "Okay."
All right.
There was really no reason to explain that, but it was like, all right, fine.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Megan and Michael, we know that you kind of forgot about them during this point of the film, so here they are, and they
They're back.
find a blue orb, and it's just kind of floating.
And she what does she goes? It's a spirit ball or something like
Yeah,
that. Like
this
with
like
full
this is
confidence. I
amazing.
know what it is. I was like, it's a what?
No, I love
No, it's a ghost ball.
the
She said, look, a ghost ball. It's like, pardon me? What?
her acting is incredible because I love that it's just like I think it wants us to follow it, and then it's like spooky music, and like Michael's going like full like he's shivering, he's like hiding behind, he's doing great, and then she goes, "It is. It wants us to follow it," and then they
She's like, come
go.
on. Where is your sense of adventure?
Yeah, it's like why? There's no. Then they get into an elevator, and they go, "Where's your sense of adventure?" Like there's this big build up to it, and then they go up the elevator, and nothing happens. It's fine. They're not even in the elevator next time we see them. So why is it
Mm,
there? But
why?
they follow the orb. They go into the attic. This is where we meet Emma and Ezra, the principal of Goofy Movie and Dina's, um,
This lady.
and the other one. And
Yep.
they find a big old painting that's like really close to their mom. And they're like, ah, she must be
Oh,
Elizabeth because she looks
yeah.
like our mom. It must be.
Yeah.
There's a lot of this
It,
film that's like, okay, fine.
yeah. All right. Okay. That's fine. Yeah.
Question. Before we go to the next
Yes.
part, are zombies in the Haunted Mansion or any Haunted Mansion?
Uh, zombies? I don't think so.
Because
I mean,
this is
there's
when,
dead people, there's ghosts, but there aren't zombies. I don't think, unless the little heads that poke behind the graveyards or the gravestones. But they're
oh,
not.
okay, well, I
That's.
completely forgot about that.
I mean, that's. But they're. I mean, they're not. They're not. not
They're
really
just kind of
there.
like a little like here I am, but because it was
Yeah, it's just meant for like a jump scare thing. It's not important to the plot.
yeah. And in this next scene, this is essentially where what the scene I like to call the Easter egg scene, where all you get is just little Easter eggs. You get the paintings that turn into other paintings. You get
Yes.
the head busts that are just like, oh, there he goes.
Which one of them definitely looks like Walt Disney. Like one of them
The
is
singing bust,
definitely,
or I'm talking about the ones
yeah.
that like follow
Oh,
follow the
sorry, we'll
image.
get there later. But
Yeah.
oh yeah, those. Oh yeah, yeah, I noticed those.
Yeah, no, they're just tiny little Easter eggs, and then he finds a phone, picks it up, and then he places it down, and then he looks in the mirror, and he's like, "I'm a zombie." Ah,
Yeah, that was kind of scary.
it was kind of scary, but what was the purpose of it? Like, why is
To
there a
scare
phone
you.
mirror?
That's it. They're like, oh, we just realized that this movie isn't scary. We have to go back and add some things.
Oops, we forgot.
We
Um,
forgot to make the haunted mansion scary. Dang it.
dang it. So they keep going, blah blah blah. I'm reading over this because I kind of keep forgetting what's happening.
Mm-hmm.
Gracie is kind of starting to hit on Sarah a little bit, thinking that
Yeah.
Sarah's Elizabeth but reincarnated, and he's like, oh, I don't let here's something positive I can talk about. Gracie's acting was pretty good.
I think he's cool. Yeah.
I thought Gracie did a really good job conveying the character. I know Gracie's not his name, but
And
um,
hey, no mourning, please, at his request. Sorry.
haha.
There's
But
my horribly not subtle reference.
I love the like. Anyway, you keep doing the podcast now.
Yep.
Yep. But
They're
no,
not here
so
for
he's
my
like, oh,
joke.
don't you get it? Like, you're Sarah. And I know that people who have listened to this podcast are realizing I'm doing the same voice I did for Spaceballs, where I'm making characters go like, oh man, I'm acting. That's because they didn't
Oh boy.
really act in this film. They were
Not
okay.
really.
Not really, though. And then this is where they meet
If it,
Madame
yeah.
Leota, wasted potential.
Which, Hannah Leota's so cool. And
Not
they made her so not cool.
Yeah, they made her just more annoying. And
Yeah.
it was just she's there.
Ugh.
And they're like she had one cool-ish scene where like the whole room is spinning, but then the instruments,
Even that was kind of like a fever dream. I'm like, what's going on here?
yeah, it's Jim just looked like he was sitting and the room was spinning around him because there wasn't any lighting indicating
Yeah,
that
I
he was
mean, like,
spinning.
it was funny. He did make it funny, but seriously, if he weren't in this movie,
It would have been worse.
it would have
Um,
been very bad.
but Madame Leota goes, "Hey, you got to go to the cemetery so that we can
Of
reveal the
course.
truth about Elizabeth's death." And Michael has no problem with this, only spiders. And they go
Because there
to the
can't be any.
mausoleum, but before the mausoleum, we meet the singing bust. I have a problem with this. One,
Yes.
why are they here? They don't serve anything. And then two, there
It's
should be
just for the
five.
reference. I was going to say, I think there's more.
Why did they only do four? Um,
They didn't have enough
but
money
anyway,
to
you
do a
wanted to
fifth.
talk about something, but that was the wrong head bust because there's two.
Yes, one of them definitely looks like Walt Disney. I don't know if you could look up a picture.
Yeah, I can look up a picture, and everyone else can too if you want. Um, yeah, wasn't it the one that's like, yeah, this one, the one that's like,
Oh,
which
I'm
one?
talking about the one in the movie.
Oh, the one in the movie.
Yeah, I
Uh,
was one of them in the ride supposed to look like. Oh, well, I
well,
didn't
that was
notice
a big
that.
theory with that it was, but then people were like, no, and then
Yeah, well,
and no. Oh, I guess here's the. No, that's from the ride. That's from the ride. See, there's five. Um, this one, the one on the far right.
yes.
Yeah, he kind of looked like one.
Okay, well, I didn't know that that was a theory about the ride too. That makes me feel kind of stupid.
No, no, a lot of people were like, no, yeah, that's got to be Walt Disney. Yeah, was that Walt Disney's face inside the Haunted Mansion? And I think a bunch of cast members and designers are like, no, no, yeah, false.
Oh,
I'm so sorry. It was apparently
it might have been.
Earl
It
Ravenscroft.
might
This
have
guy.
been. Oh, okay. It just happened to be another dude with a mustache.
So therefore, yes. But no, they sing some tunes. They're annoying, and then we move on. I didn't view them annoying, but I just they were
Yeah, they were cool. I thought it was funny.
fine.
But
Then we
it's
have the one scene that I wish the rest of the film matched, which was the mausoleum scene where there's a bunch
which
of
holy
zombies.
moly, if I were a child, like me being a child, I would have not slept that night.
Me being a
But I think
child, I watched this last night. You better believe I haven't gone to sleep. No zombies
it's
this way.
it's
But no,
pretty frightening.
this scene is what I want the new Haunted Mansion movie to be. Which let's
Yes.
talk about that.
Let's.
um. So, do you know about the other Haunted Mansion film they were going to do?
I heard that there is one in the making.
There is one in the making. It's from Ghostbusters writer Katie Dippold. She wrote the new Ghostbusters film.
Okay. I haven't
With
seen
like
that
one of the
one.
writers. So, um, in the sense of, and I don't care what anybody thinks of the new Ghostbusters film. We're not talking about that. But the idea of, I feel like she might do good for Disney in the sense of
Okay.
she has just enough comedy, or like she could
Mm-hmm.
work with other people to make comedy, and then enough scary elements that it would even out to what
Good.
Disney wants.
Because here are my thoughts as kind of why the 2003 Haunted Mansion didn't work. The ride, it has some like funny little elements to it because it's a family theme park. They're not going to make it absolutely terrifying. But I feel like the ratio of comedy to, I'm going to say horror, even though, Disney's not going to make a legit like horror movie because it's meant to be for families. But the ratio of like comedy to, I guess, scariness, it didn't work because it's meant to be mostly scary with some like haha funny things in there, but it was just I don't know, it didn't match the same tone as the ride.
Right.
If that made any sense whatsoever. That makes sense in my brain.
No, no, that makes sense. Um, but you just reminded me about like Disney in like a horror sense. So going back to the Goofy movie,
Oh
this
my
was a film,
gosh.
Runaway Brain. Have you seen it?
No, I
This was
have not.
this was a short film that aired right before a Goofy movie.
Oh my gosh.
It it's essentially take Pete, right? Uh,
Yeah.
Now make him big. Now
Yeah.
make him essentially King Kong, and you got
Oh,
yourself King Kong. However, what they did was that they had Pete and Mickey switch brains, and then that's why, like, you guys can see the pictures. That's why, like, Pete has ears here and Mickey looks crazy there. This is such an enjoyable film because it's just weird enough, but it's also just entertaining. There's a part where Mickey has a vacuum, and he uh, what's the thing with the gun that you do? He like pops a
huh?
bullet out of it and goes like, "Hey, Julius!" But watch it, and you'll know what part I'm talking about. Um, you can probably just find it online. I'm sure like
Okay.
YouTube has something like that. But it is
Yeah.
such a crazy 10-minute thing. But that's what I want this film to have done, is taking more risks and gone like, well, what if
Yes.
we did do something scary? Which is what I feel like this scene was. They were like, okay, we
Mm-hmm.
want to do something that's just scary enough, but not terrifying. If that makes sense.
Yeah. Yes.
Because like the zombies are creepy, but they're also neat to look at from a, like, this is 2003
Yeah.
stuff.
Right. Like it's a skeleton with some clothes, but like it's definitely scary, but it's not horrifying and traumatizing.
Yeah. So I want
Yeah.
to get to the end of the film. But
Yeah.
anyway, they escape because Michael got over his fear of spiders, and that's the only character
But
development
I
we're ever
don't
going
have a
to see.
magazine.
And then he like, okay, when he unlocked the door, he like put his hand on the knob, unlocked it, called it a day. Then they go back to Michael, and he's covered in spiders. It's like,
They all just
they're
latched
just like,
on
hey,
there.
bud, you unlocking a door? Where's your magazine now?
We're gonna hop on.
We're gonna get you. So
There's so much that doesn't make sense.
no, but they get the key, they grab Leota, they go to the attic, and that's where they find a letter from Elizabeth to Gracie saying that, like, oh, like she did love him. Whoa, she was murdered. And that's when Ramsley comes up and he's like, I killed her. And they're like, oh, it was the butler.
This is like these are some crazy topics all of a sudden.
Yeah, we're going from wacky spider kid stuff to suddenly
Get over your fear of spiders to I didn't want you to marry her because wow.
They never bluntly say it, but it's like heavily implied.
It is heavily implied.
So for people who haven't seen the film, one, why are you listening to this? And two, they a century ago, during their time, interracial marriage wasn't really
that was not a socially acceptable thing.
Right. But like I did like at the end of the film, they're like, this is normal. I'm like, okay, that's fine. But why are we that's a heavy topic.
It's just all of a sudden which like
because if you're a kid and you're watching this film, you're not really going to know why it's deemed incorrect or unacceptable.
Right.
So then as a parent, this is almost like that scene in Up where it's like, hey mom, why are they crying at in front of the doctor? Yeah. It's like, well,
and it's not that, and it's not to say obviously that the topic shouldn't have been talked about. That's not it at all. It's just like out of nowhere, just nothing, none of the vibes, none of the tones fit.
Yeah, it was just like
just a mess. It's like all of a sudden we're tackling social problems, like serious issues, but before we were just
followed immediately by Ramsley throwing the kids in a trunk and then throwing Jim at the mansion. It's like, hold on, let's go back.
Somehow he survived.
Yeah, he should be dead. He should at least have a broken bone.
Ow, my head. And gets up. I'm like,
dude, that hurt. And then, can you still walk? Yeah, I guess. It's fine. So Gracie and Sarah,
perfect condition.
Yeah, and then Gracie and Sarah, they go to the ballroom, and she's kind of confused of like, do I know you? Do I not know you? And this is when I feel like Gracie did his best acting, because he's like, don't you remember any of it? Me.
Yeah.
Exact quote. And Sarah keeps going like, I'm not Elizabeth, man. And Gracie's like, well, I don't know. Ramsey goes, nope, she'll remember. It'll come back to her. Don't give it a minute. It's fine. She just needs to kind of wake up. So Ramsley blackmails Sarah and goes like, I mean, you want your kids to be safe, you better marry this person. And by marry, I mean die and then marry this person, which will hypothetically break the curse so that all of the ghosts can leave. Now, wouldn't they all know that that's a lie? Because is the curse just broken when Gracie falls in love and marries?
What was the curse?
Yeah, wait, yeah. There's no curse mentioned in this. It's just they can't. When? They're just like, oops. Holy cow, there's a curse. Film. They're just like, there is one, but we're not going to talk about it.
We're just like, oh, we accept this.
Yeah, it's fine. We just can't move on. Why?
I'm so confused.
So they get to the wedding. They get to the wedding. They play a really cool Here Comes the Bride. I like that because it was at least creepy enough.
It was all spooky and out of tune.
Right. Her tears were painted on. I'm not kidding. When Michael looked up, the tears were like, they didn't move. They were just like bedazzling your face of just, there it is.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I seriously think they painted it on.
I agree.
Yeah, and then they're like, do you have, like, if anyone has any objections, please say them now.
Yeah, I got some objections.
Yeah, I got some objections, yells Jim. And then everyone's like, oh, cool, he's here. And he explains to Gracie, going, hey, Elizabeth never wanted to die. She was murdered. And then Gracie's like, bruh, that's not cool, man.
Well,
Dude.
yep.
And Gracie's like, I'm going to summon a dragon. So he summons a dragon. Doesn't make sense. It goes after
No.
Ramsley. Doesn't make sense. Ramsley goes to Heck. Doesn't make sense. Tries to grab Jim. That makes sense because he's the bad guy. And then
just
they leave.
The flames of Heck, like it opens up out of the ground, and we're like, oh, this is okay. This matches the tone of the movie so far.
Yeah, that's fine.
What?
Why a dragon? Why? Okay.
Yeah, why that too?
Why a dragon? Why did it go immediately after Ramsley? Because I assume that Ramsley controlled the dragon. How did Ramsley summon the dragon? Why did it just immediately go back and not take anybody else? And Gracie was really quick on saving Jim. So anyway, Ramsley goes back, and I know what you all are thinking. What happened to the blue orb? You know, that orb that kind of stopped getting talked about?
The ghost ball.
Yeah, it's here. I love this camera angle, by the way, when like it's slowly coming towards the family, and then they all look immediately into the camera, and they're like, "Hey, what you doing here? Get out!" It's like, oh, okay. I'm sorry.
Because that's what you say to a ghost ball. Because that's what you would say to a ghost ball.
Obviously, but
hey, leave.
Don't bother me. Hey,
no.
So it goes like, you know who that blue orb was? It was Elizabeth. What?
Oh my gosh.
Oh, almost forgot. Sarah's dead.
Oh yes.
Yeah, good
She's
point
passed
to
out.
mention.
She's gone.
Yeah, she's dead. But Elizabeth Ghost comes and they're like, my love, Gracie, sup? You want to go to heaven? You want to bring your friends? Let's all go. All 999 of us, which is never mentioned. It's wait, they never mentioned. Okay. So they all leave and they're like, and the curse has been lifted, and everyone goes up except for the butler. He goes down, and then everyone leaves. They go on the Florida bridge, the Lake Pondicherry.
Hey, no. It is not in Florida. Why did you think it was the Florida bridge?
It looked very much like Florida, like the Keys.
I think a lot of bridges look very similar.
Hey.
I mean, yeah.
Seen one bridge, you seen them all.
Seen them all.
Seen them all. But anyway, they leave, they go home, and they go to the lake and have a good time, I'm guessing, with the forcing
and they adopted Leota as their new pet. Yeah. And they adopted Leota as their new pet.
I guess. And then after the credits, Leota goes, okay, bye. And they leave. That's the end of that film. What would you give it out of 10?
Hurry back. Be sure to bring your death certificate.
So out of 10, hold on. So
solid 5.5.
Well, hold on. What would this will be an interesting question. What do you think's the moral of this story?
Don't go to random people's houses.
Yeah, did this film teach you anything that's like, yeah, you know what? I walked out of there a new man or girl. Just
yeah. Yeah, I learned that not all Disney movies are great.
Bold take. You mean to tell me that Meet the Robinsons?
Meet the Robinsons was infinitely better than this.
Oh yeah, completely. But like, it's not a film.
I love Meet the Robinsons.
But is it a film you go on Disney Plus and you're like, yes?
Yeah, actually.
Okay.
Yeah, it actually is.
Then I'm gonna stay quiet.
Yeah.
It's a fun film. It's just
I really like Meet the Robinsons.
Yeah. So out of 10, let's just
a 5 or
10
a 6.
spiders.
Michael is shaking. Like a 5 or a 6. Because like it's fun to watch. Okay, I'm gonna give it a 6 just because I do like watching it, but it is so not as good as it could be. Like it is funny. Like I do laugh quite a bit. in this movie. But
But
that's for being like, that's aside from the point that it is supposed to be the Haunted Mansion, like the ride. I lost my train of thought. But like, as
I
just an
get it.
entirely
Of like
separate movie, it's fun. But I do not like it for being the Haunted Mansion movie. Like, I like the little hints here and there, but
on
it's
an
just not what I would have wanted.
on an enjoyable level, like of just watching this film and making fun of it,
Mm-hmm.
7 or 8, because throughout the film,
Yes,
yeah, like I could,
it's fun to make fun of. That's for sure.
yeah, I could make fun of this film the entire podcast if I wanted to, which I probably have. But the it's just fun to kind of rip it apart and go like, there's no curse. How many ghosts are there? What is
Yeah.
going on in this film? But as like an overall film out of 10 spiders, or like just as a film itself, I'd probably give it a 5. And the reason, or
Yeah.
like, yeah, 5, just because I can see that there was a lot of effort put into it. Like $90 million, that's a lot.
It's a lot of money.
But when you compare it to the same film that came out the same year, The Curse of the Black Pearl, that one was, it was a standalone adventure. So it was like they had the Pirates of the Caribbean themes, but it wasn't a shot for shot remake of the ride. If that makes
Yes.
sense. So I feel like that's why
Yes.
that one succeeded and this one just was not
Yes.
doing it for me.
Because I think another reason why that worked, Pirates of the Caribbean, um, is there wasn't really much of a plot to the ride before the movie. Like it, you know what I'm saying? There wasn't like a huge story. Like, I mean, it was an awesome ride. It's one of my favorites, but there wasn't like a whole plot really. And I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. So like they could do whatever they wanted with the movie. But with Haunted Mansion, there's such a like defined plot. Like there's characters. Like I don't
Yeah.
think that there were any characters in the um Pirates of the Caribbean ride
There were like
previous to the
references to
movie.
like characters you would see on like the bridge of like, oh, there's the guy with the pig, but it
Yeah,
wasn't like a
but like none of
huge,
them had names or stories.
no. So it
It's
was
just like
like,
there's some pirates, there's a fun song, it's a great time.
yeah,
And it
which
was
I
a
think,
great ride.
yeah, and I like it because it's like depending on like what age and who you are and all that, like a 5-year-old who's never seen the film is gonna have a way different experience than like one of us who write it because we've seen the films and we've like gone on it multiple times. So it's
Right.
just like different ways of telling the story. Haunted Mansion has one story,
Yes.
kind of like in the sense of like all the characters have different stuff, but it's
Yeah.
there was so much that they could have done. Speaking of which,
Hmm.
because we have a little bit of time, what do you think would be like? How would you rewrite the Haunted Mansion? Because if they're
How
gonna
would
make
I
a new
rewrite
one,
the
let's
mansion?
assume that like we're the directors and Disney's gonna a-okay everything.
I mean, I want more from Constance, the ghost in the attic, because she's so cool. That's one of my favorite rooms. I want it to all tie together because I feel like a lot of it, it's like there's different stories like kind of all over the place. And there's different characters. Like you've got Constance, you've got Master Gracie, you've got the ghost host. What's he all about? Did I say Leota already?
The
Yeah.
the
Like,
grave digger, even like he's a
yes.
character.
Like there's so much going on all over the place. I want them to tie everything together.
Mm-hmm.
I want to know how everything connects.
Yeah, or
Yeah.
just something like that. Like even like
Yeah.
minor things like the candlestick just floating around.
Yeah.
Why is it for like just something? I feel like,
Yeah.
and I'm just throwing this out here, if
Mm-hmm.
like Disney Plus came out in like they weren't making a movie, it would be interesting if they made Haunted Mansion shorts where it was
Oh,
like
that'd be so.
like maybe like 10 minutes or something, just very short, but it would tell the story of one character. So like one episode would be the ghost house, and then another episode would be
Oh, that would
Madame
be
Leota.
fun. That
Like
would be fun.
that would be fun. But if this movie does that, I'll be really happy the same way.
Even better. Right. I think that would be even better. Yeah.
I feel like it would be bold if Disney took the Haunted Mansion and made it PG-13. In the sense
I
of
think that they kind of need to, though.
they do, because it's like it's
It's
a
the
fun ride
Haunted
that
Mansion.
kids can go on to. Right. When you hear the word Haunted Mansion and it's Disney, you're expected to be scared a little, but not terrified.
Yeah. Like, it's meant to be wholesome, but there needs to be scary elements. You're allowed to make this scary. It's the Haunted Mansion. There's scary elements. So I just think that they need to explore what they already have in the ride so that they don't have to change the ride because the movie came out.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't want them to, I mean, even if it's a different plot from the ride, I don't want them to change the ride to fit the movie.
Well, that's just it. Is that if they did, like, if this movie was a commercial success, Disney probably would have changed the ride, and that would have meant that all of the ghosts leave at the end.
Yeah.
Making it the mansion. There it is. Haha, I was able to fit that joke in.
There we go.
There we go. But there is so much potential in this film that it made it funny to make fun of, but really sad that it wasn't able to live up to it, if that makes sense.
Right. I completely agree.
So yeah, I guess that pretty much
Here
does
we
it
go.
for spooky time.
Here was our roast of the Haunted Mansion.
Yeah. And I'm sorry I didn't say much positive, but that's because it was more fun. It's still fun. It's just
yes, it's a fun movie to watch, and I do enjoy watching it because I can make fun of it. And I do like little references to the ride here and there.
Yeah, it was just at the same point, there's so much that could have happened. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Anything else you want to add about the Haunted Mansion before we go?
I'm excited to hear more about the new movie and what it will entail. And yeah, those are my thoughts.
And for those wondering why we didn't talk about the hitchhiking ghost, because they were in it for 3 minutes. All right, guys. So we'll be back. Sorry, Emmy, I don't mean to make you cry. Don't cry.
Yes, that's another upsetting part.
But until then, I guess all we can say is just one last thing. Hurry back. Sure to bring your death certificate. Make final arrangements now. All right.
Something and a ghost will follow you home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So have fun. Your new ghost buddy is William. He's a cool guy. He'll play the ukulele for you. So he's
That's so
fine.
nice.
Yeah, he's fine. Everyone gets a little William when he goes home.
Hello, everybody. My name's William. Here's my ukulele.
Can I return in?
I'm gonna ghost come out to tell lies.
All
Bye,
right.
William.
All right. So see you guys later. And
All
happy
right.
Halloween.
Happy Halloween.